Sheila, you ready? Okay, I will, Mayor, I'm going to call the Town of Copper Canyon Special Council meeting in session here on Monday, October 27th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And the Town Council will conduct a public hearing regarding the request for exception from the Town of Copper Canyon General District Zoning Regulations, Article 4, Section 4-104B3. The request is for an exception from an accessory building maximum square footage requirement. The ordinance requires a maximum square footage of 1,200 square feet. The residents are asking for an approval of 1,490 square feet. The property owners seeking the exception are Kimberly and Grant Duffy. The property is located at 325 Mobile Drive, Copper Canyon, Texas. The property is legally described as Copper Canyon Addition, Block A, Lot 1, Town of Copper Canyon, Denton County, Texas. And I'll call that meeting to order. And pursuant, I'm going to take the chair's prerogative to adjust the order of the agenda items, and pursuant with Section 55.1-.71 Texas Government Code, the board may meet in an executive session to consult with the city attorney regarding matters authorized by Section 55.1071, including matters posted on this agenda, and will reconvene as necessary after items discussed in executive session. So I'll put the public hearing on hold as of 6:02, and we will enter executive session as of 6:02. Okay, I'm going to, we've closed the executive session as of 6:34. I'm going to reopen the public hearing at 6:35. And I'm going to make some comments about why we went to executive session. And the answer is because we were discussing advice from our lawyers on the issue that we have at hand. We were reviewing proprietary documents that are not public information. So we're reviewing those things and covering some trade secrets that are important. So that's why we had to go to executive session for this issue. And with that, I will open the public hearing for any public comment. Anybody with any input that would like to have a public speak on this has 3 minutes to discuss their issues. And I have one, we have a sign-up list. If you want to get on the sign-up list, or you can just raise your hand if you haven't got the sign-up list. I have one piece of paper in front of me showing Tim Larson would like to speak on this issue. Tim?
Can I put these here for a second? There's no swearing in process for this one? Okay. Going to try and get through this in 3 minutes.
Can you say your name and your address, please?
Yes, I'm Timothy Larson. I'm the direct adjacent neighbor to 325 Mobile Drive. I live at 315 Mobile Drive. We are the property the most affected by this accessory building. Our attorney has sent a letter to the town regarding tonight's meeting, regarding this most recently proposed non-compliant accessory building and the situation in general as it pertains to Texas law. In brief, tonight's meeting is not legally binding, as the meeting itself has no legitimacy under the law. There are no legal grounds to grant this meeting, nor to grant a variance, exception, or any other special wording the town can massage or direct the Duffys to use in an attempt to have this meeting tonight. There is no condition to grant a variance or an exception. The Texas Supreme Court has set precedents for just this situation when a permit was wrongly granted by a town, where there was an actual coding violation and where a citizen has partially built a building or home. That decision, which is cited in our letter, as well as several other case decisions that are applicable to this current situation, are consistent with our stance that this proposed non-compliant second home accessory building cannot be built and must be removed. Furthermore, this recent submission is not substantially different than the compromise scenario that was rejected by the BOA meeting. This structure is a fully equipped, independent second house which is not allowed on a 1-acre lot and is still 25% too big, 290 square feet too big. That is 2 large bedrooms and a bathroom too big. This clearly violates town zoning, as essentially the idea rejected by the BOA. The number of children a family has or someone's poor planning when building a construction home does not constitute an acceptable legal circumstance to warrant special exceptions to the law. The town of, even a code-compliant accessory building must meet town zoning requirements and cannot inflict harm to our property. We will protect our house and our property as we can under the law. The town of Copper Canyon wrongly granted a permit, violated our request for anonymity, then directly lied to my wife, and is now violating Texas state law. The Texas Supreme Court has ruled that an improper permit does not give someone the ability to violate building ordinances and zoning conditions. There are no unique circumstances here, none that are recognized under Texas state law. The only thing present is self-imposed circumstances by the building team who did not follow our town code and knowingly submitted a non-compliant permit request which the town improperly granted, period. My wife and I will not tolerate the abuse of our time, the harm to our rightful enjoyment of our property, nor the undue stress and emotional harm for this process, not to mention the cost we've incurred and the real missed income as a result of this process. My wife is especially disheartened that for some reason we are made out to be the bad guys in all of this, and we have done nothing wrong but sit here and watch this building get built next to our house. The Duffys will need to remove their entire framing and slab, as there is no legal path for moving forward with this accessory building. They did not file an appeal with the state within the allowed time frame and cannot move forward. Finally, I ask that our attorney's letter be included as an official document for this meeting. I also ask that the town council members provide a written statement that they personally came to our backyard and directly observed this accessory building, as we requested, and that they reviewed our original BOA letter, which we submitted for that meeting, and watched the entirety of the BOA meeting last month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have anything else to speak in public input? Mr. Dunphy, your choice, your chance. State your name and address, please, and 3 minutes. What's the matter? Yeah. Oh, okay. You have longer than 3 minutes.
Perfect, thank you. Grant Duffy, 325 Mobile Drive. Good evening, my name is Grant, here with my wife Kim. Regarding our accessory building project at our home, I want to make it clear from the beginning that this is not a neighborly dispute or a personal issue. This is about doing things the right way and making sure our project aligns with the town's expectations and standards. From day one, Kim and I have done everything the right way. We hired a professional architect, Exurb Studio, and a licensed builder, Stallion Signature Homes. Our plans were submitted to Safe Built and approved by both Safe Built and the town inspector before we received our building permit. We did not begin any construction until that permit was officially issued. The foundation is already poured and inspected. Structure has been built according to the approved plans. Both the plumbing and foundation inspections were completed and approved prior to the stop work order, and the framing was fully completed at that time. We took every step with the understanding that our project met town requirements based on the approvals and inspections that we received. When the stop work order was issued, honestly, we were shocked, not only because we believed we had followed every step correctly, but mainly because we had received a permit approving, that we could move forward. In most situations, when you receive an approved and signed permit, you have every reason to trust that it meets the required standards. The permit signed by Safe Built gave us the understanding that our plans were in compliance with the town code. After the variance meeting with the Board of Adjustments, we began working closely with Troy and Safe Built to address every concern and fulfill all additional requests. Since then, we have been very diligent in providing all documentation, revised drawings, and information needed to move this process forward. We have made meaningful adjustments to address the town's concerns and bring this project as close to compliance as possible. The roof height has been lowered to 20 feet, which satisfies the height limitation. The change has also resolved the setback issue as the building sits 18 feet from the property line, which exceeds the required 15-foot setback. At this point, the only exception that we are requesting relates to the total square footage, which primarily includes the open-air patio space that faces our pool. The patio is minimally visible from the street and blends naturally with the home's overall design. It was thoughtfully planned as part of the structure, and altering it at this stage would significantly affect both the layout and architectural balance of the project. We respectfully ask that the Town Council approve our request so that we can move forward with completing the project. We have consistently acted with transparency, followed the process as we understood it, and cooperated fully with every town request. As we've shared throughout this process, we approached the project with integrity and professionalism from the start. Based on the initial approval we received, we've made significant financial investment in reliance on that decision. Given these circumstances, we believe a certain level of grace and understanding is appropriate. As homeowners, we have the right to make reasonable and thoughtful improvements to our property that align with the spirit of the town's code. The project was designed to enhance our property and assist with our growing family's needs while remaining consistent with the character of our neighborhood. We simply ask for the opportunity to complete what we started. Thank you for your time and allowing us to share our side. We sincerely appreciate the Town Council's consideration and hope it is clear that our intent has always been to act in good faith and complete a project that reflects Copper Canyon standards.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything else to say at public input? Okay, with that, I'll close public input as we for this subject, and I'll enter discussion amongst the council members on it. And I'll start the discussion, I guess, for us. This ordinance was put in 2022, was a rewrite of the accessory building ordinance and stuff. And at that time, just per chance, I was on the council, but I left the council before it was fully done. And at that time, I was the only person living in 1 acre lots that was on the council. And this ordinance was more such restrictive on, in my view, on 1 acre lots for what we have here in Copper Canyon and why people live here. That's my view. And therefore, I think that, that's a consideration. In my neighborhood, I know of at least 7, if not 9, different buildings that are over the 1,200-foot restriction that it was imposed on in 2022. That being said, that is the current restriction that we have. So that's why we're here for asking for an exception to that, to the current restriction. Let's go down to the council members. Anybody have anything to say on that? To start with Chase.
Yeah, well, first off, sorry both of you guys are going through this. I know it's a tough situation, an unfortunate one, but one that has places for solutions. Tim, did you mean to leave this up here?
Thank you, sorry about that.
Yeah.
You guys haven't had a copy of the...
We do.
So as Mr. Mayor was talking about, when we did the accessory building ordinance a handful of years ago, we tried to base it off property size as best as possible with different segments for the size of property and the buildings that were allowed. When we talked about 1 acre lots, we did not have very much input from the 1 acre lots. I think a lot of the reason for that is because smaller subdivisions have HOAs, and so they kind of regulate themselves. I understand there's no HOA in your subdivision, so you fall back on our ordinances. But the square footage that we came up with, or that was just thrown out there, for a lack of a better word, was 1,200 square foot. How you get there, there's no rhyme or reason, is it right or wrong? But that's what it is. So this is a balance between what's reasonable and what our rules are. And, I'm under the impression that you could connect it with a breezeway and then make it quite a bit bigger if I understand our rules right, and had some folks ask me about building a structure and it was too big, but if they connected it to their house, that they could go quite a bit larger. So at the end of the day, the structure can still exist. It's just how you get there. So I think it seems that the extra couple hundred square feet, which is mostly not visible from the Larsons, or can they see?
Let's finish this discussion.
Yeah.
I'll reopen the public input later.
Yeah. So if the building is pretty much going to remain substantially the same with either way our decision goes, I think it's pretty evident we look at this with a reasonable mindset, and they've already gone through the hassle and the trouble and the time and the money to get this thing done legally in their mind, and later on finding out that it wasn't. It's just a very unfortunate thing that I think we have the opportunity to make right.
Mr. Councilman Dahl.
Questions I'd like to ask. Is
Please do.
that,
Please do, yeah.
Can you, can you hop up to the podium? Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Jason, question first, or do you want to?
Let's deal with him first.
let me ask to Chase's point, this is most unfortunate.
Agreed.
Both of you are dealing with this, right? But I think we can find our way out of it. I'm hoping we can. My first question, though, is during the design phase, did you personally or the builder, did you look at the ordinances before you started taking pencil to paper.
Yeah, we hired a design team, and they utilized, what they could to design it as they did. So
So you were aware of the ordinances.
I was not, no, sir. That's why I hired a professional. I did not.
You didn't personally look at the ordinances
That's
that
correct.
are
Yes, sir.
published on the website?
Yeah, hindsight 2020 obviously would have done so.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yes, sir.
All right, so then my second question then is, having just gone through that painful experience at BOA, did you consider making more modifications, for example, taking the roof off the patio to get you closer to that 1,200?
The considerations that we made were, we lowered it, as I mentioned,
Right.
which took care of two of the variances
Right.
that were brought up in that. Also, if we were to remove the covered patio area, which is the primary structure in question that puts us the most over, if you would, if we were to remove that completely, the roof slants right where you would have people sitting. And so from a patio standpoint, it doesn't really make sense if we were to sit there, and it were raining and have a pergola or something, you would have water coming on to you. So we still wanted to be able to utilize it in the way that we wanted to design it. So that was why we didn't. Also, when we go to sell our home, we're going to be able to sell our home based on the square footage, and the definition of square footage is under HVAC. And so I can't sell my home based on the square footage of a patio. And so from that standpoint, you could also look at the ambiguity of the ordinance in what a 1,200 square foot footprint means. Like, is it square footage that we're talking about? Because technically we are under 1,200 square feet of HVAC space. So that was also a consideration of ours on the redesign.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is it would have made this a lot easier had you come forward with taking that roof off. You would have been really close to the square footage.
I understand. As I mentioned, though, I just think it doesn't impact anybody in the neighborhood or the town of Copper Canyon other than us, this is why we're building the building, is for us. So it faces our pool. It doesn't face the street. If you drive by, the only thing you could see is the roof line of the patio. You can't even see the patio itself. It is completely behind our house.
Okay, Jeff, good? All right, let's go. Councilman Newton.
I would just comment, just kind of my sympathy to both the Duffys and to the Larsons. I don't have any questions for
Oh,
you.
okay.
I would say that we also have built a 1,200 square foot, what would have been an accessory building. I'm going to put that in public record so that I can comment to that. At the time when we built it, we could not build an accessory building that time that we chose to live in Copper Canyon. The reason that we live in Copper Canyon is because my parents live in what would be considered an accessory building, but we chose to live here. Primarily chose Copper Canyon so that we could build. We want to live how we want to live. I think a lot of people that live here live in Copper Canyon to live the way that they want to live, for not having HOAs, to have the ability to build how they want to. And so we looked into the ordinances. We read the ordinances, and we looked at, and we talked to Sheila. Known Sheila a long time, really appreciative of her and what she does for our town. I thank you for that. And we talked a lot, and we hired a contractor, and we took the due diligence as a homeowner to ask the questions. And I'm not admonishing you, I'm just saying that we knew a long time ago what that 1,200 square feet is. And so I guess when Jeff is asking you, did you know that? I'm just kind of curious, because we knew. And we knew that it had to be attached. We knew some of the kind of intricacies because that's what made the decision to actually live in this town versus Double Oak. We knew that that had to be grandfathered. We didn't want to live in Flower Mound because we were going to be just inundated with a lot of the problems that Flower Mound was going to have. And so I guess I'm kind of, and I want you to know, I'm for you. I'm for you. I really see some of the problems, and I think that there is a solution to this tonight. And I think that we can bridge the gap of what we're working with currently. But I do have kind of a curiosity as to that there was just kind of not an ownership in some of this as well. And so I'm kind of frustrated at the whole situation. I'm frustrated that this has kind of happened. And I also have compassion because I think that, you know, I'm sad now that for you all, that there's not a neighborly feeling, because that's not what Copper Canyon is.
Jenny, do you have a direct question on the issue at all?
I guess
right now, or-
my question now is, you're telling me that you have this rain situation and that you're not feeling like that's gonna work for you. You're telling me that you don't have this situation where you can feel like you have any compromise. So you're telling me that this is an all or nothing kind of thing for you. Is that really where you're at? You want,
No, ma'am, I don't think it's an all or nothing. We also did remove 132 square feet of the covered patio as well. So I should have mentioned that when Jeff asked the question about removing the patio. We did have an additional 132 square feet on there. So we did remove that as well. So I feel that we've made a lot of adjustments, not just on paper, but from a financial standpoint as well. Making those changes would be a large financial investment, reinvestment, I would say, into the building. So to answer your question, like, I don't believe it's all or nothing. Like, I feel like we've given quite a bit to get to this point by lowering the roof line and getting rid of some of the covered patio as well.
Okay, I'm gonna keep this moving along, if that's okay, because we have another meeting coming up here. Victoria,
Every question I have has been answered.
already been answered? Paula, do you have any questions?
I don't have questions, but I have some comments. I'm really dismayed by the fact that this got so far. We have situations in place to keep that from happening. We have an outside company that's supposed to be looking over every permit application. It's on our website everywhere. You send your permit to Safe Built. You felt comfortable that when you submitted that they were gonna be taking care of it. We have town staff who is supposed to be monitoring that. Obviously, that wasn't the case. The builder and the architect, I know that you've done quite a bit of business here in Copper Canyon. You should have known our ordinances, and for you not to do that, I did listen to the BOA meeting, Dr. Larson, and I have driven by there many times as I live around the corner. And I heard you say, that I think, Landry, when you were talking at the BOA meeting, I think I heard you say something to, well, we submitted the plans thinking that there would be a negotiation. Something to that effect, that you guys didn't, okay. Well, we can go back and look at it. But the deal is that it got that far. It's unfortunate that it did, because you guys did everything that you thought you were doing right. There were stop gaps built in, and unfortunately, it failed you. And the same thing for you, Dr. Larson. This is, something that is very, just really disturbs me. Something else you said real quick is that the patio cover, and you'd have to sit in the rain. I don't have a lot of sympathy for that, unfortunately, because we're about 1,800 people, and a lot of people live on property where they don't have nice pergola patio covers. I don't have that, and I have 2.5 acres. And so when I sit out by my fire pit, I sit in the rain. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. I don't think that there is any solution for this. We can vote one way or the other, and nobody's going to be happy. I think that the system failed you, and I think that, we should have been paying attention. I do think that the builder failed you, so whatever.
Okay,
That's how I feel.
all right, thank you, Councilman Castillo. I'll mention a couple things. The permitting process at the time was one person and building inspector inspected that and approved that and sent that to a company called Safe Built that issued the permit based on the recommendation that the plans met code, and they did not, and inspector just missed that. This council has readjusted the process and how we do that now, where we have more than one person looking at any plans that are submitted for a review process prior to it being approved and any permits being issued. So the old system is out, we have a new system in. Hopefully this will never occur again, we won't have to be going through this again to our neighbors that we have in our town. Mr. Larson, I'm going to reopen public input again for just a couple of minutes because we're running along. And Mr. Larson, do you have some comments? Just a couple minutes?
Yes, I'd like to address a couple things that have come up, one of which is an incorrect statement. If the Duffys were to connect their accessory building with a covered breezeway and make this part of their house, they would then need a 35-foot setback, not an 18-foot setback. They need a 35-foot setback. Number two, the square footage isn't just, oh, we can't see part of the square footage. No, the thing grows as a square footage, otherwise you can't have a physical roof on it with any sort of meaning. So this goes so far back into our backyard that it completely shadows our hot tub and pool, and no one builds a hot tub and a pool to be in the shadow of our structure. Now, when you build a hot tub and pool, for those of you who've done that, you go to the pool design, and they literally have a sunrise, sunset video program, computer program, to simulate the sun, so you can see where to best position your stuff in your property. So that is taken into account too on our end, with our money and our expense that we have already done and already here. So the town messed up. The town messed up, right? No one disagrees with that. It got this far, the town messed up. So the thought process here is, well, boy, that stinks. Let's just punish the Larsons and let's break Texas law and go ahead and grant this? I mean, that just, to me, is unheard of. This is not an accessory building. This is a second home. This has a bedroom, a bathroom, a garage, a kitchen, indoor kitchen, had an outdoor kitchen, and they're talking about changing the roof line, not cutting out the square footage of the footprint. The town code is the footprint. The Duffys did not do everything they could do to prevent this from happening. They could have read the code like we did when we built our property and made adjustments to our property based off of the code. They elected not to do that, and they put their faith in someone else, right or wrong, right? Finally, this establishes a terrible precedent for the town. This says you can come to Copper Canyon, you can build whatever you want to build. As long as you get the cement down before someone catches it, you're good to go.
Okay, that's enough, and you give me your couple minutes.
Thank you.
Couple comments there. I'll mention one. I don't think any precedent is set on any decisions made at all. Each case is an individual case to be taken up by either the town council, planning and zoning, or the Board of Adjustments, and that's the way we handle each one of the individual cases. And two, I know of people who have had buildings built on other property that have blocked their sun view and things, and that's just the problem about having neighbors and things. So, I mean, it's sad that that happens sometimes, but that's why you have neighbors build what they can. And in the state of Texas, I believe you get to build what you want to on your property within the code of or variances exceeded and issued by the town. With that, Mark Pape, did you come in and hand a sheet of paper to Paula for Sheila for talking? Oh, that's for later. Okay, thank you. I didn't know if it was this subject or not. With that, does any other council member have any other issues they wish to discuss with for this meeting? Okay, at that point, I will close the public discussion, and I will take a motion to take a vote on adopting the to accept or deny the exception for the Town of Copper Canyon General District Zoning Regulations, Article 4, Section 4-104, B3, thereby allowing them to, or denying them building the accessory building exceeding the maximum square footage requirement. The ordinance requires square footage of 1,200 square feet. The resident asking for approval of 1,490 square feet. I will take a vote on that issue. I'm asking for a motion to take a vote on that issue. Do I hear a motion? The ordinance says we have to take a vote on this issue at this time.
I will make a motion that we make an exception, which we have the ability to do, for their application against the zoning regulations, Article 4, Section 4-104, thereby allowing them to build an accessory building exceeding the maximum square foot requirements.
We have a motion to accept the exceedance of the town ordinance of 1,200 square feet. Do I have a second for that? So you can vote.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Newton. And let's do a roll call vote of this. Oh, you can ask a procedural question, sir.
Could a motion be made with a contingency?
We have a motion on the table. Yeah, so we got to take care of this motion on the table to start with, so. And I don't think they were going to accept any contingencies. Councilmember Libbert, what is your vote on that, allowing the exceedance?
Aye.
Aye. Councilmember Newton, what is your vote on allowing or denying the exceedance?
Aye.
Aye. Councilmember Castillo, what is your vote on allowing or denying the exceedance?
Aye.
Councilmember Victoria Hubbard, what is your allowance or denying exceedance?
Nay.
Nay. Councilmember Dahl, what is your vote on allowing or denying the exceedance?
Nay.
Nay. It passes by a vote of 3-2, 3 ayes and 2 nays. The exceedance is accepted for the address, the owner of the real property, 325 Mobile Drive, Copper Canyon, Texas, for an exceedance of 1,490 square feet on their accessory building. And I will take a motion to adjourn the Town Council special meeting public hearing on this activity.
I make a motion, we adjourn the special meeting.
Motion made by Councilman Castillo, seconded by
Seconded by
Councilmember Hubbard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. That's unanimous vote. The meeting is adjourned. And we will open a meeting for our regular town council meeting at 7:15. Give us a little break.